Yeah. Okay, we're live. We should be live. What's going on, D-Bags? Hope you guys are doing well. We're back here again with another episode of the dtalks podcast, episode 193 to be exact. And if you're new here and you enjoy music, podcasts, hooping videos, or comedy, do consider subscribing. We got a whole lot of that going on around here. And if you want to get to know me more, you want to hang out, all my links, my name is Darren, Rita, are down below in the description. Check all that good stuff out. We got music, we got Patreon, we got Instagram, we got everything. So check that stuff out. We got a good show planned for you guys tonight, but before I can jump into the show and introduce you guys to my guests, I got to talk to you guys a little bit about car insurance. These days, it seems as if prices just keep going up. It feels like every day we're talking about how expensive things are or how expensive things are going to be. So what are you doing wasting money on car insurance? Let your hometown agency, Kenosha Auto Insurance, save some money for you. They've got simple and hassle-free insurance using the latest and touch-free technology to help you and your family get the best rates. So what are you waiting for? Give them a call today at 262-448-4141. That's 262-448-4141. The website's KenoshaINS.com. It's on the screen right now. It's linked down below. Give them a call. Tell them D-Rita D-Talk sent you. The worst can happen is you will get the best rates. Now, all that good stuff out of the way. I am pumped to introduce you guys to my guest this week. Let's give a wet D-Talks welcome to Milwaukee actor Luca Clesceri. Clesceri.
Yep.
Yes, we were practicing before we went live. I had to do it.
It's a hard name.
It is. It's hard, but it's not that bad. It's pretty solid. I like it. It's a cool name. How are you, man? Thanks for being here. By
Pleasure
the way.
to be on. Pleasure to be on.
It's we met last week, chopping it up, talking a little acting, talking a little podcasting, talking some music, stuff like that. Obviously, I introduced you as an actor. I got to ask right off rip. Method acting. Are we pro or are we against?
I would say, for the most part, pro. Pro method. Yeah.
Pro method acting. Okay. And this is from somebody who has a degree in acting. Okay.
Yes. I would say, for the most part, I'm pretty pro method just because there's a lot of like different like roles that you have to get into where it's like very much not like who you are.
Yeah.
So you have to spend some time, like if you've never been like a musician by any chance, like just taking time to like try and learn like an instrument, like that can be like pretty tough. Like you have to like spend some time like knowing like what are like the pros and cons, like the ins and outs of like that industry, that like day-to-day life.
I could see that. So even stuff like, I guess that would be considered method acting. Where do you think it goes too far then?
I think it goes too far when it's like Jared Leto's
that's what I was thinking of.
They're like sending like dead mice to like his like castmates. That's too far. Yeah. Like when the cameras stop rolling, it's like you should chop the shit.
What about when Wesley Snipes wouldn't let people refer to him as anything other than Blade?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of lit. I'm not gonna lie, and I heard he was an asshole actually on those sets, but
I wouldn't be too surprised.
He did do a full interview, like a press interview, as Blade still, and I thought that was fun.
But I mean, it's Wesley Snipes. He can kind of do whatever he wants.
Yeah, at that time too. Yeah, he could do whatever he wanted. So, do they say anything about method acting when you're in school? To be an actor?
Not really, if I'm being honest. They never really touched method acting.
What do they get into? Because I've had a friend on who also graduated in film, or not in film, in acting. Yeah. And he's more so in like the theater aspect of that. But as far as like film wise, like do they get in? What kind of acting styles do they get into? What sort of philosophies are they getting into?
I mean, my university mainly, like the acting program was mainly like theater based. So I did like have that sort of training. But it was mainly a lot of like Shakespeare and a lot of like Chekhov, a lot of like the older, like more like classical, like playwrights and stuff. And then you would have some sort of voice class or like dialect class, and then some sort of movement class.
Okay. What's something you take away from a movement class?
What's like one semester we did stage combat.
Oh, that's always fun.
Which was pretty fucking cool, but it was the semester that COVID happened, so like halfway through.
Virtual stage combat?
Yeah. I'm just like shadow boxing in my room.
And a fucking Zoom call? That's fun. Yeah. That's immersive right there.
It's something.
That's that's good. That's actually good prep for you if you ever decide to be in like a big blockbuster movie where they use a lot of green screen, and you're fighting just CGI animals.
Hmm.
That'd be good right
And
there.
there's just like a blue creature in front of me, and I
Yeah.
just have to pretend that it's like some alien.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever got to do anything with green screen as an
No.
up and coming actor?
No, I wish. I
Yeah.
wish.
That seems pretty interesting, dude. I like really, I know like Hollywood does get a lot of shit, and I think deservingly so with some of the usage of green screen, and now we've got the volume
Mhm.
and these other things, whatever. But you do got to give these actors a lot of credit. Like if they're just in like a blue room, and they got to like pretend that
Yeah.
there's a fucking whatever spaceship is there, and they're fighting whatever monster. Like I don't know. Sometimes I think we miss that in some of the criticisms of actors. But
Absolutely. You need to have like such a vivid imagination and be like, all right, you have one take, and you're looking at a green screen, and it's, Star Wars or whatever. You're
Yeah.
like, okay, let me. I have one take to do this, and there's millions of dollars on the line.
we're like, dude, what was it? When like they do I forgot who it was, when someone was doing line readings for like the new Star Wars films when they were coming out, they talked about how they didn't think, like they thought that the casting director was joking when they had somebody in the room making R2D2
Oh, yeah,
noises
yeah.
in response back, and they're supposed to like act off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they thought it was like a joke, so they're like, wait, I think it might have been John Boyega, I can't remember who it was, but
I think it was.
yeah, but it's like shit like that. It's just got to be kind of goofy in like when you strip everything else away. There's not even a prop of the robot, or even in the Marvel
Mhm.
films when they've got the Rocket Raccoon character that Bradley Cooper plays.
Yeah.
I think they just go around. There's like a guy just in like a green suit.
I think it's James Gunn's brother.
Yeah.
I think.
And then Bradley Cooper does the voice after, but it's like I don't know. That's just got to be kind of weird to like. Oh yeah, I have to pretend that this is a raccoon that I talk to, and it's just like a grown man like crouched over, like walking next to me all the time. Like it's just kind of weird, but
It's weird, but I feel like it alleviates some stress as well. Because like at the end of the day, acting is just like, it's make believe, and it's like playing with adults.
yeah, it's true.
So it's like, all right, I'm gonna pretend I'm a raccoon, and it's like, all right, like have some fun with it.
How would you pretend to be a raccoon if I was like improv class right now and I was like, okay, you be a raccoon? What does that look like?
I'd probably just like get on the ground and start like hissing and shit.
Hissing. Oh, you would go like, what if you were a raccoon? What if you were Rigby?
If I was Rigby,
Rigby in 2023 gets plopped into this universe.
probably a lot more swearing. If
Yeah.
I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's a good show, man. Regular show.
Regular show is amazing.
It is phenomenal.
That whole like period of like Cartoon Network, like the late 2000s to early like 2010s.
There was some gems, and I'm not gonna lie, I was like kind of in a stage of my life where I wasn't watching as much cartoons.
Mhm.
Like I think I was like in like maybe early high school or late grade school, like like 8th grade, 9th grade type stuff.
Yeah.
And those shows were coming out, and I kind of felt like I missed out a little bit because it was
Mhm.
like Amazing World of Gumball. I saw a couple clips of that. That was like, that show looked hilarious too.
Yeah.
Adventure Time, like these are shows I didn't really get fully into, but I was like, man, these got some gems in there.
And then you had like the really like weird ass shows like Chowder and like what was the
Chowder's funny as hell, dude.
just
There's
so
some
funny. It's
weird
so
shit
funny.
in there, but it is so funny, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's some timeless stuff with Chowder. Okay, aside from that, we got some homies in the chat. Eleazar says, "Bro, you need car insurance in this city. The streets is wild." You are absolutely right. That's why you should go in the description right now and let them know that Darren, Rita, dtalks sent you. They'll help you out, I swear. And Michael Heck says that you're the GOAT and you should plug our films.
Oh, yeah.
What films are we talking?
Oh, shout out Michael Heck, one of my best friends, fellow filmmaker, director in Milwaukee. One of the best to do it, one of my favorite directors to work with. I've been working with him now for, I want to say like 3 years, something like that.
Really?
Everything from short films, student films, to first feature film.
Okay, that was the Yellow Weekends.
Yeah, Yellow Weekends.
Yeah. Very cool. I just checked out the trailer for that was it yesterday or this morning, and it looked really clean. So
Yeah. It was a shit ton of fun to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's that like as opposed to working on maybe some of the student films that you've done?
I think when it comes to student films, I feel like it's very hit or miss because everyone has such a different directing style and a different like organization style that sometimes people can take it and be a little more lax with it. Like, oh, it's just a student film. Like, I don't have to put that much effort into it, or like, it doesn't have to be that organized. But when it came to our feature film, like, it was one of the first things outside of like theater that I had done where there was call sheets and location times and like everything seemed like official, and I was like, oh, like it helped me as an actor like buy into like the authenticity of like we're putting on something that's like genuine.
Yeah, and it's nice. I feel like, when people are doing student films, it's probably their first time doing it, or first couple of times, because there's literally a student. It's in the title.
Yeah.
And that includes the organizational side of things. So not only is it like they're stressed out about making the thing look good, they're also like, shit, wait, no one told me I have to also like manage 5-6 people's time and make sure I have all my equipment and the location and everything else. And I can see how that can kind of become a fiasco with student films.
You can definitely tell who did their work beforehand and who's just kind of like figuring it out as it goes.
Yeah, and you mentioned too that it helps you as an actor when things are organized, and I would bet, like, especially as somebody who's trying to make a name for themselves as an actor, and you're doing student films and then getting your first feature and whatnot, when things are actually taken care of and that there's not like some hole in our game plan, it allows you to just be like, okay, I just have to do my thing.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry that like, hey, Luca, we might need you to hold a light for this scene.
Exactly.
Our guy buddy didn't show up, or can someone run and go grab the food? The caterers are not gonna come. Da 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 da. Because shit like that happens on set. So when you don't have that going on, I feel like it alleviates a lot of the stress on actors, and they can just focus on like, okay, what do I got to do for the scene?
Yeah.
When is my next scene? What do I need to bring for that? And just focus on that. So.
Because then also like when you, as an actor, like when you only have to focus on just that and just like read these lines, move here, say this, move over here, do that, then it just makes it easier to be like, all right, if I do my job correctly, it makes everyone else's job easier.
Yeah.
Because then if you have to do like multiple takes of like, oh, I messed up this line, like I didn't hit this mark, whatever, then you're pushing everyone else's time back.
Yeah.
But when it's like, all right, I got this down in like the first, second take, then it's like, all right, if we get it done, we can get out of here early.
Yeah. That's a good feeling. I can imagine just helping. If anything you can do to speed up a production, definitely feels good, because that's like the biggest thing is time.
Yeah.
You think a scene's supposed to take this long.
It always goes longer.
It's always longer. Yeah, no matter what. They'll be like, we gave it an extra 3-hour window, and you will use that 3-hour window.
100%.
So you went to school for acting. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like you got your bang for your buck? I know some people have mixed opinions after they graduate for acting. Like they're like, I don't know if it was worth it. Other people are like, dude, I took away some stuff that I think was super invaluable. Like I wouldn't have got anywhere else. What's your thoughts?
I think if I look at it like just in a vacuum of just like my acting classes and stuff, I don't think it was the most helpful. Because I feel like a lot of the things that I learned, I probably could have learned outside of university. But like the whole kind of college experience in general, and like the people I met through it, and just like where I started and where I ended up, like there was so much growth that happened, and I met so many amazing people through it, that it's just like I can't really be like it wasn't worth it. Yeah. Because without it, I wouldn't be where I am.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like a lot of times going to school, especially like college for the arts, is kind of like looked down on. Like people are like, dude, like just do it yourself. Go make films or go make whatever. But it's like you got to also realize, depending on where you live or where you're from, like there just may not be any opportunity for you to do that. Or if you don't, maybe money's tight, like go make your own film and act in it. Like what, dude? Like, you know how hard that is to like put together and all these different things, and you can't play all different positions at once, all the time. So it's something where I think maybe the biggest resource, which is meeting new people, I think that's where you really get the bang for the buck when it comes to like going to college for, if it's music or if it's theater or if it's acting, whatever it is. Because I'm sure the people you've met along the way has probably bred most of the opportunities you've gotten in the field.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like if you didn't go to school and you were like, well, I was just going to learn this on set. It's like you might have learned it better on set, but like how would you have known where that set was going to be?
Exactly.
Or how to find more sets, or you know, so I think that's kind of an interesting factor that people miss sometimes.
Plus, when you think about like going like quote unquote like into the real world, like most people like when they go to college like at 8, like go into college at 18, leave at like 22, 23. If I were to go into like, or just anyone like go into like the work, like the real world at 18, it's drastically different than going in when you're 22, 23. I mean, you're still young as shit.
Yeah.
But like you grow and develop so much in that time where it's like you're a completely different person.
Yeah, I mean, life hits people at different paces, and I think, you know, the more time you can give yourself to develop, mature, I think that, you know, the better. If you have the time, you know, some people don't, so I'm not gonna say that they're wrong for not going, but it's interesting. What's a student film look like, man? What's the set of a student film feel like? If you could bring us in, like, pretend you're on Vice right now, or whoever does my daily routine videos on YouTube. Like, what does that look like if you're on a call for a student film? Break that down for me.
Usually, like location-wise, most likely it's someone's house, or it's like the university, like outside of the university, or like in like a university like classroom or something like that. Or it's just like my aunt has some like place that we can use, like we can film there. So it's usually pretty low budget. Usually it's like one camera on a tripod. Like you have like a light or two. You have one person on sound, and then like that's pretty much it for the most part.
Yeah, what's like the energy feel like when you step on a set like that on a student film? Is there nervousness? Is there you know, people eager to prove themselves? What's that like?
I would say for the most part, I've been fortunate where most of the sets that I've been on have been like very relaxed, like very like everyone's just kind of shooting the shit with each other, like having fun. I've never really been on a set with like a student film where it's been like super stressed out.
Yeah.
And if it is, it's just like, oh, we're behind, and like we still have like all of these people, or like all of these scenes that we still need to do. Like, how are we gonna like manage our time? That's like the most stressful that like it usually ever gets. Or it's like, oh, the battery died. Like, oh, we need a new battery.
Shit, yeah, someone forgot to plug in the other one, the backup one. That's always fun. What's like the most maybe embarrassing thing that either you've seen or have had happen to you while on set of a student film? Or any film for that matter, anytime you've been on set.
I was on a student film once, and we were shooting on the train tracks, like kind of by like Marquette campus.
Okay.
And it was like late at night. There was only like, I think like 3-4 of us on set, and we got the cops called on us.
Oh.
So like the cops just showed up like halfway through filming, and we're like, what are you guys doing? Like, took down our information and stuff, and we're just like,
were you guys permitted to be there or no?
No.
Oh, no. Okay.
We literally just pulled up with a camera, and we're like, all right, let's shoot here.
Hell yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're filming and the cops pulled up and busted it.
Yeah. Well, they didn't bust it. They were just like, what are you guys doing? Like, you know, be safe, all of that. We included them in the credits, like special thanks to like Milwaukee Police Department.
Wow. Okay. Very cool. What did you guys finish filming then that day, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They let you guys finish.
They let us finish, but it was still like, man, this sucks if we have to like stop filming.
Yeah. Damn. Any ever like disastrous moments? Anything where like somebody like fucks up maybe even a scene, or a prop breaks, or maybe a set gets fucked up? Anything like that?
There was one student film I was on, where we finished filming. It was like a really like cool, fun set, and the audio didn't like sync up, or like didn't record. So the
Press
only
record
the
button. No.
yeah, so the only
Oh,
video,
no.
the only audio that we got was the camera mic.
Yeah.
So it's just like really low, really shitty audio. You're just
Yeah.
like, man.
Yeah, dude. I've had that happen plenty of times, dude.
Yeah.
Know exactly how that feels. You're like, damn. Especially, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I don't know from like a student filmmaking perspective, but just from like making YouTube videos and pumping a bunch of money into like buy the new microphones or get new wireless lavs and stuff like that. Like, it really hurts when I go to like edit it and I'm like, oh, dude, this isn't recording. I just spent fucking $300 on these wireless lavs and I didn't press record. I'm like, oh man, that's like, you're ready to put your head through a wall, dude. That's rage inducing right there.
Yeah.
That can be tough. For you as an actor, what's something that helps you, I guess, bring what you need to bring to a scene prior to it? Like, let's say it's minutes leading up to you have a scene. They're getting the shot set up. They're almost happy with the way it looks. You got maybe like 5-10 minutes before you're going to be needed to do it. How are you preparing mentally? What helps you to prepare to the best of your abilities?
I think a big thing for me is I always like to like kind of like walk around the set a little bit, like just really make sure that like I'm comfortable and like familiar with my surroundings.
You pace back and forth, kind of like Darth
I'm a
Maul
big pacer.
Okay.
That, and then if it's like a really like emotional, like very intense scene, I just like to remember like what the story is, like what the message like of the short is or whatever.
Yeah.
And just like really trying to play to like that authenticity, because for that character it's not a film or like a play, it's real.
Yeah.
So you have to like honor that like authenticity.
That's true. That's a good way of putting it as well. I think sometimes, especially when it comes to student films, people getting early in their acting careers, maybe, it's like it can be hard to maybe fully give yourself to a scene or to a character, because you get to step into this thing for 40-second scene, minute scene, and step back out. But like you just mentioned, that character, that's their real life. Like that's it. They only exist in that 40 second, and that's everything. So I think that's interesting you bring that up. Do you think you're a good liar?
Do I think I'm a good liar?
Because you are an actor, so I don't know if this whole nice guy persona could be a front. You could have been like jacking yourself up to get into character on the elevator ride up here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I can trust you actors.
I mean, my parents would say no. My parents would definitely say no. I was definitely that kid growing up that like if I was told like a secret, I would immediately go tell someone like, "Hey, like blah blah blah." And like you shouldn't have told them. Like you were supposed to keep that a secret. But I like couldn't hold it in. Like I had to tell people. So
it's tough for you to keep a lie to yourself as well.
Yeah. I'd say
what's
so.
your tell?
What's my tell?
Yeah, do you have a tell? Like I have a tell. Like if I'm like jokingly lying with about something or to somebody, like I like smirk slightly to like the right side of my face for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I can't hold it in. I'm like, I want them to figure it out. It's like kind of serial killer like almost.
Yeah.
Like I know I got away with it, but then I start like smirking because I want them to like, I'm like, it's funnier when you realize and then we have the joke. But
yeah.
What about you? Do you like, what happens if you lie? Lie to me right now.
This is the decorations in here they're okay at best.
Okay, best.
At best.
Okay, you doing it too. You got a little smirk going on.
Yeah,
there you go. You
absolutely.
fucking cabinet. It's beautiful in here.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. No, it's all
that
right.
and it's usually eye contact. You can usually tell like if someone's like
really looking away and whatnot.
really looking away and being like, I don't know. You can usually contact.
Yeah, body language is a big tell. Some people are not as good as it as others at hiding that. Do you think being an actor makes it tough to date you, or tough to date?
I think it's tough to date.
Okay.
Just because like there's a lot of usually like most actors, like especially like when you're in a production, like let's say like a play or something, like you have like a good like 4 to like 6 hour chunk dedicated of your time to just like I'm at rehearsal, and then when you're home you're practicing lines. If it's like a musical, like you're doing like your choreography and like your music. So it's just a lot of like I have to be like in this mode, like, and constantly like working on it.
Yeah.
Which can make it hard to be like, all right, let me just step out of that and like let's
go get lunch.
Go to lunch, or let's go to the movies.
Yeah. Do you think, because there's a lot of people that at least when it comes to like, you know, famous actors and whatnot, actresses, like people say that sometimes actors and actresses can be tough to date.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see any validity in that? I don't know. You're a single guy now, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've had a relationship at any time or recently at all. Do you ever get feedback? Like people are like, I can't read you, or, you know, they think like you're going to go do some crazy shit. I don't know.
I wouldn't say that. I would just more so say that when it comes to like dating actors, it's very much Damn, this is tough. You've really put me on the spot with this.
You gotta be careful here. You're not trying to self-report. I see the wheels turning. Is it tough? Could you date an actor?
I've dated a couple actors. Yeah.
Okay. How does that go?
I feel like.
Why didn't it work out?
I mean, it didn't work out for a multitude of reasons. I don't think it was just because of acting.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But what is it about? I guess we'll do this first. Aside from, you know, you also being an actor, what do you try to pull yourself out from it? What do you think is attractive about actors?
I think there's a lavish lifestyle that everyone kind of craves with acting, because like at the height of the height, it's like you're a celebrity, like you have all this fame and attention, but because of that, I think that's what actors want ultimately in some way, shape, or form is attention. I think in the performance arts in general, regardless of if it's acting, maybe it's music or comedy even, I think on some level, I'm not going to say entirely, right? Yeah.
But I think that what we're trying to do is garner attention, because in some way that validates us. You know, that's the way that, I don't know what it is. I need to book some more therapy sessions maybe. But I'm the same way. I'm doing a podcast right now. I want people to tune in. I want people to be interested in what I have to say and think. And you know, sometimes I don't really know why. Like why is that? And I think it comes down to attention. But so you think attention is what draws people to want to want to act. But why would you as a person, or why are we in society so attracted to actors and actresses? Why do they get our attention?
In some aspects, they represent parts of ourselves, or a part of ourselves that we wish we are or wish we could be.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, so and so is my favorite actor, so and so is my favorite like musician. I want to be them so badly. So you start like acting like them, you start dressing like them, start talking like them. Yeah. And that influences so much of your life, even if that's not ultimately like who you are at your core.
Yeah.
And even then, like some actors like put on like this like smile on this face, but like there's like reports of like countless like Hollywood actors that are like douches and dickbags.
Oh yeah, tons of them.
Yeah,
I mean tons of them. It comes out like every year. There's like another 2 or 3 of them that are like, wow, I thought that guy or that girl was really nice. And apparently they're not. Do you? I guess when it comes to, so we're talking attention, we're wanting to be like these people. Is there maybe a character in pop culture, film specifically, that you've felt really resonates with you, or like a part of you see a part of yourself in them, like a super popular character in film, in movies?
I think when I was young, or maybe not like now, but definitely like in my teens, definitely like characters that like suffered with mental health, I really struggled with, because in some aspect they were more, you know, being more vocal about it than I was.
Yeah.
So I feel like in a lot of ways I don't want to say resented them, but I almost admired them for like being able to like put on those emotions, even if it was just like a really shitty thing that like someone did out of like, you know, a character did out of like mental health.
Okay, so even maybe some of the more like toxic actions or behaviors,
Yeah.
like you almost maybe not like romanticized, but like you were like, I wish I could maybe be more open about how I feel. And obviously in that character in that moment, they're, you know, over the top doing something crazy about it. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I could see that. Anybody in particular? Any performances stand out? Any good films that we can put people onto for a character that portrays that mental health well?
I would say maybe not well, but I really admire Michael Keaton in Birdman.
Okay.
I really, especially like because his character is essentially a play on like he plays a washed up like Hollywood actor trying to do theater. So like it deals with like the attention aspect and like am I like worthy and like what's my self-worth? Like I have to prove myself to other people.
Yeah. It makes sense that you would relate to this too as an actor.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I find myself being really drawn into, you know, movies about people kind of struggling with making whatever, you know, career it is that they're pursuing, when it's like if it's acting, if it's music, if it's comedy, whatever. Whenever there's like a movie that's like focusing on that, it's interesting because those people, everybody's so different, but everybody is so similar in like what you were saying earlier, where it comes down to like some need to like fill something in here through people's attention or laughter or seeing their, you know, their head bang to a song, whatever it is. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's really weird. Do you have that as well?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah? Where do you think it comes from?
I think growing up I was very much like the super extroverted kid. Like I would kind of like go to the park and just like make friends with like anyone and everyone. Like I was like super bubbly, all of that. But then come like middle school, I was kind of like outcast and shunned for like being myself because I wasn't cool or I didn't fit in or anything like that. And like that really like struck a nerve with me and like resonated with me. And like it took me a long time to sort of like try to like fit in and while still being myself, and I didn't know how to like put two and two together.
Yeah.
But then like come to college and like after college you just kind of like learn to like put all of that aside and just like learn how to be yourself.
Do you think that time where maybe people were excluding you, maybe wrongfully so, do you think that's where the want of approval, of like attention or validation, I guess, and sort of, do you think that's where maybe the seeds of like becoming an actor could have started?
I think so, definitely.
And you mentioned to me too when we were talking last week about your grandma was like did props or something for
she was the
theater.
Yeah, she was the costume designer at my local high school.
Yeah, so I mean and being exposed to that has got to help as well, kind of nudge you in that direction.
Yeah.
What did you ever did she ever give you any tips when it came to acting? I mean, she's doing costume design, so maybe she's not, you know, but she's in the field.
Yeah.
Did she ever give you any pointers, any bits of advice?
I don't think she ever gave me like specific like acting advice, like, hey, you need to do this, you should do that. I think the main thing that she gave me was just like encouragement. Like she was always giving me like, you know, you should do this, you like this, like you're having fun, like just keep up at it.
Yeah.
And like just that like consistency over time like turned into like love, like genuine love for it.
It's important to have people like that in your life, like in your immediate circle, or even if you don't get to see them every day, that will be there to just be like, hey, you like this.
Yeah.
Like, it just reminds you almost who you are. It's like I don't know, it's so important to have that, because I feel like, and I can't speak for you, but I know with myself, I struggle with some mental health issues, and from time to time, like you forget who you are, or like you're like doubting the things that like make you, and it can be difficult to pull yourself out of that, you know. And so when you have people in your corner that'll be like, hey, no, this is what you do, this is what you love, like do that. I think it can be super good. It's like the most positive form of a slap in the face to
Mm-hmm.
yo, wake up, dude.
Yeah.
This is you. This
Yeah.
is, you were, look in the mirror. This is you. This is, do what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
You love this. I think that's good, and that's awesome that she was that for you.
Yeah.
Is there any, has there ever been a piece of acting advice that really, that you still carry with you to this day? Like, what's the best piece of acting advice you've gotten?
I don't know. I wouldn't consider it acting advice.
Mm-hmm.
I would almost consider it life advice. It was my first day ever of college. First class, it was at 8 a.m. It was acting 1. So I'm a little nervous.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little scared. Like, obviously, I don't really know anyone at college. Walk in, we do the typical, like, icebreakers, like, what's your name, where are you from, all of that. And then after we did all of that, my acting teacher, he said 2 things right off the bat. The first thing was, you don't have to prove yourself to anyone. Like, you made it, you're in the program. Like, you don't have to prove anything to anyone in here, at home, like, anything. Like, just do the work for you and just, do what you need to do to grow as an actor or as an artist. So that was really helpful.
Yeah.
And then the second thing that he said was to imagine, like, all of the things in your life as, like, you're juggling. So, like, you have, your physical health, your mental health, you have all your hobbies, your goals, like,
Each thing's another ball that you're
each thing is a
throwing up.
ball that you're juggling, and he said you have to decipher what's made of rubber and what's made of glass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's
Damn.
like, you got to figure out what things that you can, drop on the floor,
Yeah.
and, you can pick back up later, and what things are glass that you have to keep up
Yeah.
at all times.
Wow, that's I've never heard that before. I
Yeah.
like that though. That's
Yeah.
good. What for you then? What's the what have been some things that were rubber that you've had to maybe drop off and pick back up when you had more time in this pursuit of wanting to be an actor?
I think the main thing for me has been, like, social life. Like, there's definitely been, like, weeks or months where it's just like, I'm not going out. I'm literally, like, going to work, working out, going to rehearsals, just focused on my craft, just focused on, like, mental health and, like, bettering myself.
Yeah.
And then, later on, like, oh, let me go out, hang out with some friends. Let me go out to, like, a bar or, like, a club or something.
Once you have time, once
Yeah.
you can pick that back up. I like that analogy though. That's I like that a lot. That's
Yeah.
interesting. What do you think about acting in the mirror? You ever act in the mirror?
Oh, all the time.
Oh yeah?
All the time.
What is that normal, or is that considered like cringy, or is that do
I
a lot
mean,
of actors do that? I'm
I
not
can't
sure.
speak for other actors,
Mm-hmm.
but personally, I do it a lot, especially if I'm doing, like, an audition and I have to do, like, a monologue.
Yeah.
I like to just, like, perform it in front of the mirror and just see, like, oh, like, what are my mannerisms? Like, am I, what's my eye contact like? All of that.
How do you feel about self-tape auditions?
Self-tapes? I mean,
You prefer that or coming in
I
for an
kind of prefer
audition?
in person, if I'm being honest.
Really? Okay.
Because self-tapes just feels like you're just kind of, like, recording, like, the same monologue, like, 50, 60 times, and then you're just choosing the best one.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, in person, you have basically just one take to do it.
Yeah.
So, like, the pressure's on a little bit. And personally, for me, I like a little bit of a challenge like that.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like,
Interesting.
if I get it, then cool, that's awesome. If
Yeah.
I don't, like, I can still, like, I know what to improve on.
Interesting. Because I feel like when it comes to self-taping auditions, you would almost. I agree with you. I feel like we both kind of agree where maybe it is a little bit easier in the sense that you get to take your time. You
Mhm.
could mess up a billion times if you planned your time out well enough, and you could just keep chopping it, deleting the video. Okay, let's do it again. Let's do this. Let's do this. But I think that in a sense maybe you might miss out on people that are like meant to play a role if
Yeah.
they do it in person and they miss that one opportunity, as opposed to like what if the person that was really perfect for that role did self-tape it, maybe they messed up 50 times, but when they got it, it was like, oh, this is gold.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it could go either way on that. I feel like maybe as an actor, self-taping would almost be easier on your mind, on to alleviate some stress.
Yeah, 100%. Like, there's definitely pros and cons to both. And just
Mhm.
ultimately comes down to, like, personal preference.
Yeah, and you prefer to be there in person.
I prefer it. Yeah.
Have you ever known immediately after an audition that you didn't get something?
I mean, usually you can pretty much tell, like, if you, like, fuck up really bad and you're
Yeah.
just like, I got, like, 2 sentences in and I just, like, blanked and
Yeah.
I'm just, like, scrambling. Or you're like, oh, can I try it again?
Ah.
Then you're like, yeah, I'm probably not getting it.
What did they say at the end of an audition? What did they say that tells you, like, how? Give me the mannerisms, the voice. Like, what did they say that's like? Ooh.
I mean, usually they're just like, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, we'll see you around.
Yeah.
Pretty much stuff like that. And you're like, okay. But usually if they're like smiling and like they chop it up a little bit afterwards, then you're like, all right, there's, a bit more of a chance.
Yeah, yeah. Especially if they're talking about it, then they're considering things. Their pieces are moving in their brain.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Have you ever gotten any like constructive feedback during or after an audition?
Not that I can think of. Usually after an audition, at least in my experience, it's pretty much been like,
Either
all right,
you got
thank
it
you. Or you literally just like leave the room,
yeah.
and then you'll find out later, like, I got the part I didn't, or I'm called back.
Yeah. What's it like coming for a callback?
It can be a little intimidating because
Yeah?
some actors think that if they get a callback, they're like, oh, I got the part, this is easy. But then it's like you're reading with like 3 or 4 other people, like the same lines with the same character, and you're like, shit, he did it way better than me.
Yeah.
Oh, she's like clearly like can do this part really well, like, or like, oh, like they have like the,
or maybe you're reading across from like the lead that's already cast.
and you're like, oh, like the heights don't match up.
Yeah.
And you're like, probably not gonna get it.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting in acting, and like Hollywood in general, where it's like the only industry where your like looks, your physical height and build, like there's like it could be just the tiniest thing. It's like, well, you might be fantastic, you might understand this character, but you just don't look like him.
Yeah,
you don't look like who I have in my head to play this character. So I'm sorry, you're not gonna be him. Like that's crazy that they could do that, but it's like it's that director's vision or that casting director's vision. So I think it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, there are definitely some like in professional like casting directors and stuff where like as soon as you walk in and hand them your resume, they immediately like put it into a pile of like, we're not even gonna consider you at all, like interested, like, or like got it just based off of looks alone.
Wow.
Yeah. So you can almost tell like immediately, like if they put it in like a certain pile, you're like, fuck.
If the pile yours gets tossed in or set in is the really tall pile, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
You're like, god damn. Like, I was like, give me one of those other two right there.
Please. At least let me like think about like the 2 smaller ones.
The way out, you just like walk past the table and just like
move it over
as you're walking out. Yeah.
Concern me a little bit.
Yeah, that's fucking terrible. That's tough, man. That's probably one of the hardest things I feel like about acting is you're dealing with constant rejection. And like we were talking about earlier, where it's like people get into these sorts of things for attention. But when you're starting out in any of these fields, when it comes to performance arts or even just like a lot of the creative arts in general, you are just met with like ridicule, rejection, feelings of that you're not good enough, you're not worthy. So it's like to get the thing that we want, which is attention and validation, you have to like almost go backward, like further backwards, and like, well, let me go get shit on for X number of years first before I can get like a little smidge of like, oh, people like me. Yeah. It's crazy.
And then as soon as you get that one little smidge of attention, you're like, I want more.
I need
more.
It, dude. I'm mainlining this shit. Yeah, give me some of that. It's wild. It's very wild. I want to know, how do you get people to, or I should say, do you ever have friends run lines with you that aren't actors?
Yeah, a couple of times, but usually I just run lines by myself.
If are people usually receptive to that? Or are they like, dude, Luca, I don't want to do this? Like,
I mean, it depends on who I ask. Some people are like, because sometimes I'll ask like film friends or like people that like have done it before, like, hey, like, do you want to run line? Like, can you run lines with me? And usually like they know the process a little bit.
Yeah.
But sometimes people are just like, I don't want to fucking do this.
Yeah.
Like,
How do you convince somebody to run lines with you? Buy them lunch or?
I mean, usually you don't even have to do that. Usually I just ask, and if they're like no, I'm like, okay,
Find somebody else.
I'll find somebody else, or I'll
That's
just do
fair.
it myself.
A real friend will run lines with you.
They
A
would.
real homie will run lines with you. That's
They
not
would,
cool.
but some people aren't.
Yeah,
So
that's true. That's very true. What I wanted to get to a couple other things here before we get to a little script thing we're gonna do at the end. What do you think student films could do better? In your experience, just like throughout the experience, I don't know how many student films do you think you've been a part of? If you had to give a rough guess.
if I had to give a rough guess, at least 10.
Okay.
Probably close to like 15, 20.
Okay. What do you think? What do you see as a common issue that student filmmakers have, as somebody who has now graduated with a degree in acting?
I mean, I don't know if it's just a problem with student films. It might just be a problem just with like the industry in general.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot of like, you go to one like set, you work with like one person or like a group of people, and it will almost always be that same group of people. Even if you get along with everyone well, there's almost like a tiny bit of you that's like, I wish there was like a new person here, just to like give like a new like perspective, like a new vision on things.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think it's so? Because that's the thing. Even with Hollywood, you know, there's all the big thing with nepo babies, and people get jobs because of who they know. And why do you think that is?
I think a lot of it, especially when it comes to like the film school, is like you find like your friend group, and it's very much like, all right, we're just gonna make all of our films like together. Which I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, especially if you find like a really good group of people that all like have the same like work ethic and drive and vision.
Yeah.
But there's still like a piece that's like, you want to like spice it up a little bit, give it like some extra variety, like because maybe someone else like might give a different perspective on something that you never even thought of, and like now you learn something that you're going to use for the rest of your career.
That's true. Yeah, I think I see both sides of that, where I think maybe when it comes to creative endeavors in general, especially, you know, filmmaking and whatnot, there are so many things to consider, and it's so hard to rely on people. So I feel like maybe when you find a reliable group of people, you know, it's hard to be like, maybe we should call someone else to do audio instead of John. But it's like, no, John, I know John's gonna do good, and I know he's gonna be on time. I know it's like hard to like want to branch away from that, you know. So I could see both sides of it, where maybe somebody would bring something new, but at the other side of that, it's like there's a lot of risk involved with filmmaking, especially, you know, people don't have a whole lot of budget on student films. So it's like, if we do bank, we book a place or a location or whatever, we spend some money to rent some equipment, whatever, and this new person that we took a chance on doesn't show, or they're not on their game or whatever it is, it can also be costly, like financially. So I think it's tough to find a good group, and when you do, I think maybe that's why people stick with it. You see that even in Hollywood. You know, the same groups of people. I mean, as far as like comedic actors, like I love Adam Sandler films, like I grew up on those. He started his own production company, and I mean, it's the same guys in every movie. It's the same guys and girls in every single movie, and I like it. I think it's kind of cool because it's like, I don't know, it seems very fun and very close knit. It like these guys all get along well, and like they're together, their team, like they just kept winning, and they've made a bunch of fucking money and a bunch of movies that they enjoy and hopefully people enjoy. And I don't see anything wrong with that, I guess. But
there's also like a level of like, if you're relying on someone like so much, and then it's like, oh, this person like has like all of the equipment that we need, and then it's like they get to a point where it's like, all right, I'm working on this other thing, I can't make it, and it's like, well, fuck, now we gotta find all this, you know, shit
from
by
somebody
myself.
else. And
it's like when you over rely too much, then it's like, well, now like my entire project is ruined because so and so can't make these dates, or we have to reschedule it and push it back and back.
That's true. Yeah, you wouldn't want to just like put all your eggs in one basket as an actor or as a director or somebody who works in film, because it's like, if you're like, oh, I'm only going to do movies when X director is available.
Yeah.
What if you don't get cast in one of his movies? You know, like let's say they do 2 movies a year, and you know maybe one of them you're not a good fit for.
Yeah.
You know, that you're fine. You just got one movie, but if you were trying for all these other directors or trying to work with new people, I get what you're saying. Yeah. There's definitely a flip side to that. So I think it's interesting to think about. I do want to. I have a script. I sent you a script.
Yes.
Okay. Earlier today, I'm having an actor on. You know, he's got a degree in acting. I want to put his acting chops to the test.
Oh boy.
So I gave ChatGPT a little prompt, a little stupid prompt, I should say, and asked it to spit out a scene for us to act out. Now, before we actually no, we'll get into this first, and then I have a little shout out here at the end. I'm gonna pull this up. You pull it up as well. Let me see here. It should be as like a PDF. Okay. So the prompt was so that everybody knows was do I have the prompt on here? Oh, it's probably on the computer. That's okay. It was write a scene from a dramedy.
Okay.
About a world champion masturbator who misses his cousin.
Oh no.
Okay?
Oh no.
So that's why did I think of that? I don't know, because I am a walking intrusive thought, okay? That's what I am, okay?
I mean, sometimes you have a thought and you're like, let's let the AI do its work.
Yeah, why not? We got this fantastic software that could be used to, like, you know, unlimited good could be used for this. It could solve many of the world's problems potentially one day, and I'm using it to write this scene. So I figured we give this a little go.
Okay.
I have you be the lead. Let me see. I'll have you be the man in the there's I guess it looks like it's the cousin is a woman. Oh, I don't like that it didn't give it to us in like script format.
No.
That kind of pisses
this
me off.
format
This is terrible.
It's something.
Yeah, but okay, we'll do our best here.
Yeah.
And we're here on the pod. So I'll do the opening here. The scene opens with a close-up shot of a trophy, a gold medal, and a framed photograph of a man holding both of them. The camera then pans out to reveal the man, a tall, muscular, handsome athlete in his mid-30s, sitting on a couch in a dark room surrounded by empty pizza boxes, beer cans, and tissues. That's you.
That's a tough image. That's a tough image.
Good. I feel it right now. It's up here. Oh, good shit. He is wearing a T-shirt that reads "World Champion Masturbator" and holds a remote control in one hand, while stroking his crotch with the other.
I'm gonna be honest. Just reading that, I know one thing: that shirt is not clean by any means.
No, yeah.
And that remote, some of those buttons are stuck.
I picture. Have you seen The Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore? Okay, there's a cook in that movie who wears like this big. He wears the relaxed T-shirt, like and it's just like this super stretched out, like disgusting white, like grease stained shirt. That's what I picture. This is a white shirt, dingy white, right? Like they got too much iron in their water.
It's got
in the
some
washing
like
machine.
dried up like sweat stains, so it's like a little yellow.
Yeah, a
in some
couple
parts.
little yellow spots from who knows what. And it says in red font in my head, it says "World Champion Masturbator."
What other font would it be in?
I don't know. I think it has to be red. Okay, on the other side, I skipped a line. All right. Suddenly, the doorbell rings, and the man jumps. Startled, he pauses the TV and quickly straightens up the room before answering the door. On the other side is a woman in her late 20s with curly hair. And I did not tell her to say that, by the way. And a concerned expression on her face. She is holding a suitcase and a bouquet of flowers. "Hey, cousin," she says, stepping inside the room. "Long time no see." The man looks at her with a mix of surprise and guilt.
"Cousin, what are you doing here?"
He asks, trying to hide the world champion masturbator T-shirt behind his back.
So now, is he shirtless now?
I don't know.
Or does he have another shirt
underneath? Did he try to
underneath?
spin the shirt around himself? What is that? Because I thought he was wearing it.
Yeah.
It said he... Okay. He is... Yeah, you were wearing it. Maybe he was like trying to cover it up with his hands. Like you're like
Maybe.
embarrassed.
But that's a little sus.
That is sus.
Yeah.
Especially... Yeah. with everything else going on in that scene. I can picture it, though. This is any student filmmakers watching this right here. You got your lead. He's here in a studio.
Well, we got a copyright, so you actually can't use this.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Intellectual property that we stole from ChatGPT, I guess. Okay. So, hey, cousin, she doesn't for a long time no see. He said, okay. I'm here for a visit, the woman replies, looking around the room. Wow, you really let yourself go, huh? The man shrugs, embarrassed.
Yeah, I've been busy training for the next championship.
Oh, God. That's good. Championship for what? Laziness? The woman quips, placing the suitcase on the couch. The man fidgets with the remote control, avoiding eye contact.
Look, I'm sorry, okay? I didn't expect you to come in here like this.
I know you didn't, says the woman, walking over him and hugging him tightly.
Oh.
But that's why I'm here. I missed you, cousin. I missed the old you. The one who used to play soccer, go hiking, and have fun.
Man, he really let himself go.
The man sighs and pulls away from the hug.
Yeah, I missed you too. But things are different now. I have responsibilities, a reputation to maintain.
I'm going to uphold this reputation. A reputation as a world champion masturbator? The woman asks, snickering. The man looks down, ashamed. It's not... Oh, the man looks down ashamed.
It's not just that. It's everything. The pressure, the expectations, the constant scrutiny. I feel like I'm drowning, and this is the only thing that makes me feel alive.
There's a lot of people on the internet that feel the same way as our main character. Oh, that's good. The woman puts a hand on his shoulder, looking him in the eye. I understand. But you have to know that there's more to life than this. You have family, friends, people who care about you. And most importantly, you have yourself. You can't let this define you. You can't let beating your meat define you. The man nods, tears streaming down his face.
You're right. I'm sorry. I didn't know how to deal with everything.
The woman smiles, wiping away his tears. That's why I'm here. We'll figure it out together. Now let's clean up this mess and go for a walk. The fresh air would do you some good. The man nods, grateful, and together they start picking up the pizza boxes, beer cans, and tissues, as well as the world world champion masturbator T-shirt is still hidden behind his back.
Wow.
Wow, that's emotional.
I mean, shout out the cousin though. Like the cousin came in and was just like,
I'm here for you.
I'm here for you. It's an intervention, really.
Yeah. How do you? That's tough though, man. He is the world champion.
Yeah.
So like
he's the Joey Chestnut of masturbating.
Yeah, you know. So like think about if Kobe Bryant's cousin like came up to him and was like, "Hey, this is a little obsessive.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta take it easy. You gotta hang out with the kids more. You gotta do whatever more. Like, that'd be fucked up. We wouldn't have Kobe. We wouldn't have had Kobe. You know, like
R.I.P.
So maybe cousin needs to back off a little, be a little bit more understanding. You know, be like, hey, you want to be the champ? That's fine. Be the champ. But maybe just clean up the pizza boxes.
I mean, but at the same time, like, some sacrifices have to be made for, to accomplish what you want, to follow your dreams and passions. You have to be willing to let some things go. And
it didn't say he was living with anyone else. So if he's living on his own and he's able to afford his own living based off just masturbating, I don't know who the fuck this cousin chick is coming in and telling him what he should and shouldn't be doing.
I mean, it's back to what we were saying earlier about the juggling. You gotta know what's made of rubber and what's made of glass.
Yeah, and the masturbation is made of glass for him. Yeah.
And cleanliness is clearly made out of rubber and it's in the corner of the room.
Yeah. You can pick that back up whenever. Yeah. That's fine. But this stroke game, he needs to perfect that because you never know when duty calls. I don't know if they do that at the Olympics. He's got 4 years to practice. That's tough, bro.
I'm just curious on how you would like rank that. Like what's...
Yeah, we did a segment a long time ago where we looked at some like wild world record holders, like sexual world record holders, and one of them was the guy who had masturbated the most times in a single day or whatever, a session or something. It was like I think he did for 9 hours, or it was the longest. Did it for like 9 hours, I think it was.
That's tough. That's
Yeah,
tough.
I think he came. He had like I forget how many different. He like came with a bunch of like toys and shit. And,
Well,
like,
he also
tools.
came
He
a
did,
lot.
yeah, I'm sure he came a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that had to be exhausting. I had a friend one time who on this podcast talked about how he jerked off 15 or 16 times in one day.
Jesus.
Yeah, he said his shit was hurting by the end, pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
No.
I'm not world champ material. You know, I'm maybe like
We can't all be perfect.
no, you know, like some people want to play in the NBA. Other guys just shoot in the driveway every once in a while.
Yeah.
Whatever that is for that sport, that's what I am. You know, every
I
once
think
in
most
a
of
while,
us are like that.
yeah, we just got the hoop in the front yard, or maybe
Yeah.
a friend has a hoop. I don't know how that would work in this analogy. I'm gonna stop on that. But man, we're actually at the hour mark for the show. Is there something we didn't get to today that we need to touch on, or any questions you have for me? You know, while your brain is thinking.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I need to talk about. Oh, I do want to talk briefly about a upcoming production that I am in.
Okay,
Yeah.
badass. Well, give us the lowdown. What's happening?
It is called Last Dollar Till. It is a local up and coming through a local up and coming Milwaukee production company, DDH Creative. They are making a 7-part TV series
That's
based
badass.
on Milwaukee and sort of living in the like ghetto of Milwaukee.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I'm gonna need to fucking interview the director, have you back on when that shit's getting ready to premiere. That would be
Yeah.
cool. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And they're doing it all in Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm. And pretty much, I think I'm the only one that's not from Milwaukee that's in the cast and like crew.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's
it's
a big
very
deal.
homebred.
Yeah. That's legit, man. That sounds like it's gonna be a pretty wild production, I imagine.
Yeah.
This be your first like multiple like, because it's a series.
Mhm.
This be your first series you've done?
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Congrats on that.
Thank you.
That's
thank
gotta
you.
feel good. That's gotta be fun.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea? I don't know if you mentioned how long it will be.
It'll be 7 episodes.
That's super cool, dude.
Yeah.
Is it good? Where's that? Do you know? I mean, maybe you don't know this yet. Do you know where it's going to be available? When it's going to be available?
I don't know
Okay.
where it's going to be available, but I do know we start filming next week.
That's super cool.
I think next week. It's next week or the week after that.
Okay, well, you're gonna double check so you
Yeah.
don't miss the call time. 'Cause
Yeah.
that would piss me off if you missed.
That would piss
it.
me off if I missed it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. That's super exciting, and I hope all the success. I wish all the success in the world for you and everybody else that's working on it, because
Thank
that's
you.
super cool. And hopefully, we'll have you back on to talk about things that are happening as they're happening with that. Before I kind of get to wrapping things up, do you have any other questions for me? No,
Nothing
no,
else.
sir. All right, perfect. Before I do wrap, I want to say a quick shout out to my homie Dylan Babcock. He's been on the show a couple of times. I've referenced him a billion times when I talk about some of my boxing training and stuff that I did with him. He had his first amateur MMA fight this past weekend.
Whoa!
Yeah. So big shout out to him, man. It was inspiring to see him get in the ring.
Yeah.
He held his own. He's phenomenal movement wise. You could really see his his boxing chops in the sense of some of his striking and just the way he moved around the ring. He felt comfortable. First fight, so there's going to be some nerves and some jitters and
Of
whatnot,
course.
and I thought he handled himself extremely well. And bro, he surprised me. Dylan, if you are listening to this, surprised me with those kicks, man. He was throwing some kicks.
He's throwing some kicks.
some
Roundhouses.
Yeah, dude. He didn't. I don't know. No roundhouses. He did have this one. He had some nice, just like straight kicks, but he had a straight up like Spartan kick
Really?
at one point, and he landed this shit, and I was like, God damn, bro. And that, it made me realize that I would never do MMA ever.
No.
But I got
MMA
all the respect in the world for the guys that want to do it, and
Yeah.
especially my homie Dylan. I want to say just shout out to you.
Yeah. Shout out Dylan. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. I love boxing. I like boxing, and I have loose ideas of maybe potentially doing something with that. later
Really?
down the line. I don't really want to like become a boxer, but I enjoy training for it, and maybe it would be cool to fight somebody once.
You don't want to fight Jake Paul?
You know, if I was ready, he would kill me now. Maybe if, you know, I trained for a few years and got in shape. But, yeah, that would be cool. With boxing as opposed to MMA, it feels, as just somebody who doesn't know a whole lot about contact sports, I'm a very casual fan. Boxing is, to me as an outsider, much more of like almost a game, like a sporting game.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I'm not saying one's not a sport and one is, as opposed to where MMA is more so I'm trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Like boxing, you obviously want to fuck the other person up as well. But I'm very limited in what I can do and what I can use. Like where I can hit you and what I can use. And there's a lot of strict rules, there's point deductions, all these things. There's some of that in the UFC as well, or in MMA style fights. But there's a lot less of it.
Yeah. I mean, if you watch like some of those UFC fighters just like practice like their kicks, you're like that would fuck up my leg.
Yeah, dude.
I'd be in the hospital for like a month.
I mean, the videos surface all the time of dudes like practicing their like kicks, and it sounds like a gunshot when it hits the fucking heavy bag. So it's pretty scary. It's just it's so wild. When like I grew up, I watched wrestling, like WWE, a little bit when I was growing up, and it's so funny because like a pay-per-view for wrestling will be $50-$60, which is like what a pay-per-view will be for like UFC. And UFC, you might pay that $60-$70, whatever, and the fights, because this shit is real, is gonna could last a minute long or 40 seconds. Dude, the fights the main event of this fight that for my homie that we went to, the guy fucking smoked the other dude in a minute and 22 seconds or something like that.
Really?
Knockout, yeah. And the fight before that, I think, was in the first round as well. And like the dude, the guy that was like favored to win, I'm not gonna lie, he looked so scary compared to the other dude. Like the other dude was in good shape, don't get me wrong, but like I think everybody, including the other dude, knew like when he walked in the ring, like this is not gonna be good.
Yeah.
And he like, props to him, I think he knew it, and he just went for like a flying knee to start the match. Immediately bell rings, and he just went for that to like, maybe I get this and I win. If I don't, I was gonna lose anyway, so fuck it. The dude sidesteps him, like catches him, fucking slams him to the ground, and just started killing him. Like it's kind of brutal to watch sometimes.
Well, yeah, because it'll be like they'll be fighting, and then someone lands like a punch or like a kick, and then you're just in a chokehold.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, you gotta tap out, or you're gonna pass the fuck out.
Yeah. Or I guess the difference too is like if we're boxing and like we're both upright, so like if you maybe get like a shot that really rocks you, you're going to the ground.
Yeah.
I'm not beating your ass while you're on the ground.
No.
UFC,
It's fair game.
I get you a shot that knocks you. The fight's not done yet.
No.
I'm coming down there, and I'm fucking, and that was the dude. Like a couple of these guys got like their heads, they're like stuck against the cage, and they're like in a tough position. They're trying to get out, and then like the other guy realizes he has another arm, and he's just like, oh, and just starts like
wailing on him.
No, because you can't defend that. You're stuck like this against the wall, both arms or whatever, and then this dude's behind you, just fucking one arm to like, just right hands catching it to the back of the head, like, nah, man, that's tough. But all the respect and props to guys that can do it. Just not for me, man. Not with this hair. You gotta come on.
Of course.
Come on.
You gotta protect the hair.
Yeah. But man, I appreciate you being on the show, dude. I really appreciate you coming out tonight. I want to say thank you to all people who stopped in, hung out with us in the live chat tonight, as well as those who are going to listen or watch here on YouTube or over on Spotify days after. I want to say a quick shout out to our patrons for supporting the channel. If you guys are interested in becoming a patron, getting access to extra podcasts, behind the scenes footage of vlogs and other content, as well as a series where I break down how I mix and write every single one of my songs, go to patreon.com/Darren Rita, and you can help support the channel for as little as $1. Also want to say a quick shout out to Kenosha Auto Insurance for sponsoring this episode. And this has been the 193rd episode of the dtalks podcast. If you got some ideas for 200 of what we should do, send them through. I will see